Good evening and welcome to your very own Byju's 9th and 10th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya and today we are having our second class, of course, on the ongoing periodic test preparation. But today in geography we're going to be tackling the chapter resources and development, and of course we will be looking at the 30 most important questions from this particular chapter. So I hope all of you here are excited for today's class, and I hope all of you who are here in the live chat can hear me, you can see me, my screen is all perfect and you're able to see what I am writing. And I hope all of you here are excited, right? So now I do know that if you think that this particular video is going to only be helpful for the periodic test preparation, let me correct you and tell you that whenever you watch this video, let it be for some periodic test, or maybe you are probably somebody who's watching this video maybe few days before your board exam, this particular video is going to be relevant because we have picked up questions, not just 30 any random questions, but we have picked up 30 very important questions of different difficulties in order for you to make sure that you have a complete understanding of this chapter, right? So what can you expect in this particular video? We are going to have a total of 30 questions, right? So we're going to do 15 objective questions, which means MCQ based questions, and we will do 15 subjective. Now from this particular chapter, mainly your 3-mark questions will be coming. Sometimes you do tend to get case based questions which are 4 marks, or in very rare cases in the previous year what we've noticed is here and there you might get some 5-mark questions also. So we have made sure that we have clubbed all of this together for this particular session, and all questions will be pertaining to this particular chapter, right? Now of course, as we all know, in this particular class, if you are watching, whether you are a live student or whether you are watching this video much later, I request you to have your notebook and textbook. I request all of you to make sure that you have pencil, pen, all your stationery. Make sure you have a water bottle and of course a quiet place to sit, right? Now of course, quiet place to sit. Yes? So one small request that I have from all of you, right? This particular class will be for 2 hours, okay? So if you're starting at 7 o'clock, this can go until 9 o'clock, okay? And it should not be that all of you are here in this class, but you are not paying attention in class. I can see some random conversation happening with Amay, Pankaj and many others, with Neha, and I don't know, so many conversations happening. Understand that if you are going to spend 2 hours here, I want utmost focus. I need you to make sure that you're not wasting these 2 hours just by sitting in the live class and then realizing that you've not understood anything. Please make sure that you pay attention. In case you don't want to learn this right now, it's okay. Come back and learn this later. But right now, if you are here in my class as a live student, I need your full attention. I don't want you wasting your time. I don't want you, having random conversations, right? Because see, your time matters. And understand that you're in 10th standard right now. Please understand that all of you here are here to study, and your exams are coming in very soon, and you know that your periodic assessment will get calculated in your internal assessment, which means at one point these marks matter. So I hope all of you are ready for this class. Yes? Are you all ready and good to go? It's not going to be a mentee class. This is going to be proper end-to-end teaching class, right? BTS and many others requesting you to not have random conversations, right? Yes, I will share it, and thank you Comfy Studies for coming back and letting me know that it really helped you, right? So we're going to get started. Now, as you all know, I have done in-depth chapter explanations, whether it comes to the introduction of resources and development, whether it comes to land degradation and land utilization, or whether it comes to types of soil conservation. I've done detailed sessions, and we've also done a revision for this particular chapter as well, right? So what I will do is I will club all the PPTs, and I'll make sure that I club and I give you the PDF for your examination preparation also. But broken boy, nobody's coming back. Now you are with me, okay? You are going to study. Pankaj also, pay attention in class, right? So you will be getting all of this, but what I was coming to is that if you all are here, then you have some serious doubts or you have not understood anything. I would request you to go back and watch this, right? Now, one thing, please understand that I'm not going to be teaching you anything. Like, I will teach you, I will clarify your doubts, but I'm not going to do an in-depth concept explanation because that has been covered on the channel. My intent, more or less, with this particular video is to kind of help you to understand that, okay, I know all this about this chapter, resources and development, but how do I write answers? Because with subjective questions, all of you struggle a lot, right? Ma'am, how to write answer in geography? Ma'am, how to write the answers? So that is where we will spend some time, okay? So are you all ready? Are you all ready? Are you all ready with notebook, textbook, pen, pencil, everything is there, right? So we are going to get started with the first part, which is going to be objective questions. And with objective questions also, I will teach you approach, right? I will teach you approach as well so that you are able to answer. And this will help you across subjects. So today is also about enthusiasm. See, nobody is getting forced to stay in this class. I want enthusiastic students and I want interested students, right? So like I always tell you, this is my request to all of you, okay? Yashasvi Bacha, poll will be a little difficult today. We're a little short on people. Abneet, what is the problem? You tell me that. Okay, poll might not be there, but it's okay. You answer in the chat, right? Full focus. Exactly, right? PDF will be available on Telegram. You don't worry, but I have to finish class first and then I'll give you the PDF, okay? Very good. Now let's get started, everybody. Total 30 questions, 15 plus 15. So first 15 is going to be your MCQ based or your subjective questions, right? So the first So the first question that we have here is a very simple question. Some of you here probably would have seen these questions earlier also if you're regular in my class. You don't need to write them down. Whatever you don't know, you can write that. In which among the following states is overgrazing one of the main reasons behind land degradation, right? Now, we're talking about overgrazing, right? We know that overgrazing is a practice of grazing or allowing a lot of livestock or cattle to feed on vegetation, right? So we know that when they feed on the vegetation from the land, it can also expose the soil, leading to soil erosion and land degradation. And if you graze too much, it can overexploit, which is what we call as overgrazing. Now our options are Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Now I can see that there is a tie that is happening between Maharashtra and Punjab, and some of you are saying Uttar Pradesh. Now these states are important for all of you to remember, right? Now when you talk about Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, leading cause of land degradation, right? So we're talking about the leading cause of land degradation. Is that overgrazing? Absolutely not. Okay, whoever has told me Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, it is not overgrazing. Then what is it? Exactly, Arohi. Very good. It is not overgrazing, but it is actually over irrigation, right? So we see that due to over irrigation there is water clogging leading to change in the the chemical nature of the soil, leading to land degradation, which is why it is not these three, but rather we know that in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, one of the leading causes due to overgrazing is if we see it in these states, right? Which is why the correct answer here is option number A. So I hope all of you are clear with this, right? Please make sure, in case if you are having some doubt, please write this down, mark it in your textbook. So correct answer here is option A, 1 mark for all of you. Now let's move on to the second question. Yes? Second question is deforestation due to mining has caused severe land degradation in which one of the following states? Yes? So now we're talking about deforestation due to mining. Now we know that deforestation is nothing but clearing large areas of land, right? We clear large areas of forest cover, and we know that if deforestation needs to happen due to mining, then you need to identify in which all states do mining happen. Is it Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Gujarat? I always told you, with respect to mining, why do we mine? We mine to find minerals, right? And this will help you in a later chapter, which is minerals and resources. Now there also you will get to know that especially in Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, in these states primarily we see that deforestation or land degradation happens due to mining, which is why in this particular case your correct answer here is option A, Odisha. So focus on the keywords, right? Focus on the keywords. Yes, parts of Madhya Pradesh also. Yes. But see, I'm highlighting the keywords. It's not just me showing you question, answer, right? I'm telling you what are the key points that you need to keep in mind so that these are the things that you need to look for. Bachas, poll will not be there today because we're a little short on people, right? Which is why today we will not have poll. But for now, you give me the answer. I'm having my eyes, fixed in this, right? See, in other states, we also observe that land degradation could happen. Parts of those states could happen either due to over-exploitation of land, could be due to industries, right? It could be all of it. This is just the second question. Moving on to question number 3. See, subjective, I know you'll answer fast. Objective, you'll answer fast. Subjective, it will take us some time, right? Okay. Question number 3 is, a piece of land left uncultivated for the past 1 to 5 years is called as dash. Barren land, current fallow, cultivable wasteland, or other than current fallow. This is very, very important. Now, when you talk about a piece of land which is left uncultivated, what do we call that? We call that as fallow land, right? Which means your barren land is not the answer. Now we know fallow land mein 3 categories are there. You have current fallow, you have other than current fallow, and you have cultivable wasteland. So very quickly, what is the criteria for a piece of land to be a current fallow land? Can you tell me in the live chat, right? If it has to be a current fallow, what is the criteria? Yes? Very quickly, can you tell me the answer? What is the reason? Very good, Bhumit. It should be 1 year or less than 1 year, right? Now, if it is between 1 to 5 years, then we call it as other than current fallow. But what if it is greater than 5 years? So we see that if it is greater than 5 years, if it has been left uncultivated, we call it cultivable wasteland. Which is why in this particular case, we see that the correct answer here is option D, other than current fallow. Very good, all of you. Very, very good. Now let's move on to question number 4. Yes? So question number 4 is all these, it's a mix of PYQs, it's a mix of a little bit application, and it's a mix of competency questions also. So everyone, moving on to question number 4, which is a PYQ that came in CBSE 2021. Identify the soil that ranges between red to brown in color and is saline in nature. We're talking about a soil that ranges from red to brown in color. You have red soil, you have laterite soil, you have arid soil and alluvial soil. Now we'll think, ma'am, red color means it is red soil, right? But that's not the criteria. Because we know that in red soil, it develops a reddish color, but we know that it's not very saline in nature, right? But your arid soil that is there is red to brown in color. It has that sandy texture and it is saline in nature, right? And of course, in the case of alluvial soil and in the case of laterite, we know that that is not the case, which is why in this particular case, we see that the correct answer here is option number C, which is arid soil, right? So correct answer here is option C. Yes? Now, when you are looking, I'm highlighting keywords, I'm highlighting important pointers, and I am also teaching you approach of solving. Are you all making a note of it, right? Are you all please making a note of the important things that we are discussing right now? Because I want you all to make sure that the important pointers are there, right? So now again, quickly to go back, right? I'll just go back to the previous one. Yes. So when you talk about alluvial soil, we know that it has a dark brownish color that is there. Same in the case when you look at laterite soil also. We see that mainly color wise we have red soil and we have arid soil which has that reddish brown color. But here we are also talking about which has salinity. Salinity is namkeen, with respect to salts, right? But salt does not mean the table salt in our house. Salt is with respect to any kind of chemical salt that could be there, right? And now you know salt could be a wide category of it. From chemical reaction chapter you have learnt it. So I'm sure that all of you are aware. So now of course let's quickly move on to question number 5, right? And we know that this came last year. Just in the recent board exam that happened in 2022. 2022-23. Yes, 22-23, we know that we have 4 options given, right? And from here you need to identify which is correctly matched. Yes, All the parallel conversations, it's okay. It need not happen in my class. Many are saying, ma'am, D. Laterite soil is desert area or arid soil is desert area. We know that arid soil is desert area. Parts of Western Ghats have black soil. Parts of Deccan Plateau have black soil, not in the Himalayan region. Himalayan region may we observe forest soil. Western Ghats may what do we see? Not arid. We observe a little parts of laterite soil. Do we see laterite in desert area? No, we observe arid soil in desert area. So what is the correct answer? Alluvial soil in the Gangetic Plain. Exactly. We know that alluvial soil that is there is formed. We know that especially in the bank, right? We know that especially in the banks of the rivers, we mainly find the alluvial soil. What is Gangetic Plain? Your northern plains. May you find it, right? Your northern plain is also referred to as the Gangetic Plain. Yes? So which is why through river deposits, exactly, we see that the correct answer, we find alluvial soil there. Denudation, Shritama, is basically removal of topsoil. That is what we call it is. Meera Bacha, we are not able to give you polls because today we are a little short on people in the office, right? They're on leave today. That is why we are not able to give you polls. But will you be nice and will you send me the answer in the live chat? I will be very happy if you are understanding about it. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now moving on to question number 6. Now see, question number 6 was also from the same paper set, okay, which happened in, I put 23, but rather I'll say 2022-23, right? It's from the same paper set. Now normally what happens is that in one set they'll give you, alluvial soil and plain. In maybe a different set they'll give you a similar question, but they'll ask you alluvial soil has sand and silt, black soil has very high salt, arid soil has diffusion of iron when crystalline, laterite is made up of lava when the lava flows. Yes. Now you know, right? So now you know black soil that is there is actually made up because of the lava flow that is there, right? We know that's made up from, or we obtain it in that particular case. So we know that option B is incorrect. Arid soil is diffusion of iron when it's crystalline. No, we just learned that it was the red soil, right? Laterite soil is made by the lava flow. No, it's formed by leaching of rocks, right? Which is why we know alluvial soil that is there has sand, silt and clay, right? So this right here, we see that the correct answer here is option number A. So everybody, please make sure that you read the options. See, what is the intent of this class? Is the intent of this particular class just to see how much marks you get, or the intent of this particular class is for you to understand where you are not clear about, right? So what I need my students to focus, not gigantic means big, okay? Gangetic is different. So everybody understand that in this particular class, our intent is to understand these are my topics which I am very good at. These are my topics that I am not so strong at, and I need to make sure that I focus on this, right? So that is what I need you all to focus on. Okay, today is not about, ma'am, I don't know anything in resources and development. My aim is for you all to understand what is it that you have to focus on. Yes? So far, I know that more of you have got the idea. Silt is basically the fine powdery substance that you see, right? There are different sets in board exams. You have like 5 sets. Okay, thank you Pradeep, thank you so much, right? Yes, inside questions are there, PYQs are there, competency is there, so much is there, right? Now we'll do a lot of practice, so you don't worry at all. Now moving on to question number 7, this is from competency question which was released in 2000, it says 23 but 2022-23. An Indian state was taken over by a new government. Which of the following actions by the government will reduce land degradation? Okay, so here, as you all know, right, we're talking about actions taken by the government to reduce land degradation. So what is it that they are asking about? They are asking us of the concept that you have to apply here is of land conservation, right? And when we talk about land conservation, we know it's the process of making sure that we return the land back to its normal state. How can I do that? I can do afforestation, I can keep my mining activities under control, I can make sure that whatever industrial waste is there, I take care of it, and I control overgrazing. So keeping this basic idea in mind, let's apply this now, right? So when I apply this, I'm just going to go back a little bit. So when I apply this, I can see that getting 3 new quarries for mining of limestone in the capital city is not an ideal way of taking action by the government, right? It's not going to reduce land degradation. No. Granting permission for cement factories, absolutely not. It's again going to cause pollution, and we know that it's also, especially in these cases, it can have an impact, right? Converting forest into greenhouse horticulture, again, not a very wise idea, right? Which is why we know that since controlling overgrazing is an important part, we see that the correct answer here is option D. Create separate grazing zones for livestock, right? Ma'am, alluvial soil consists of clay. See, clay soil, it's a mixture of it, bits of this, right? Ma'am, forest area to greenhouse. Aren't you doing deforestation? See, if you cut forest area, you are doing deforestation, right? And what is horticulture? Horticulture is basically the practice of growing your fruits and vegetables. A greenhouse is basically, it's a glass house, right? All of you, how many of you have been to a botanical garden? How many of you have been to a botanical garden? Yes, and you would have seen that, you know, there'll be like nurseries and everything which are there. So reducing forest cover in order to do large scale manufacture, again on the long run, is also going to affect it, right? So this is what we understand. Now creating a separate grazing zone for livestock and controlling overgrazing can make a better impact on land degradation. Okay? Yes. Are we clear? Shritama, why not option C? For the very same reason, right? When you convert forest air, see, what is it that you are doing? If I'm going to convert, now when I'm setting up a greenhouse room, or if I'm practicing greenhouse horticulture, what will happen is I need it to be closer to my agricultural area, but it should not, inside my greenhouse, I'm not using the soil per se from the greenhouse, right? I am unnecessarily clearing forest area to build greenhouse, but rather I can use a different area wisely. So thereby I am contributing towards deforestation, right? Which is why we see that the C cannot be the correct answer. Yes? Okay. Now next, I want you to answer this. I want you to use the approach and solve it. See, don't worry. Don't worry about not being able to solve questions, right? The whole intent is that first, in case if you feel like, ma'am, this concept I don't know well, before social studies exam, you have to study that part well. No, that's my intent. So don't get worried. So now the question is, the forest cover in India as of December 2019 was nearly 25%. In the past decade, the government has tried to meet the target of increasing the forest cover to 33%. Although there have been various efforts to increase forest cover in the past few years, forests are not able to thrive as they used to be. What could be the reason? Yes, Nawaz, listen to Neha and focus. Your options are soil erosion and low quality soil, lack of irrigation around the forest, low quality of seeds and saplings, cultivating food grains within the forest area. Now I can see that many of you here have decided that, ma'am, it cannot be B or C. Okay. Many of you have decided, ma'am, I think the correct answer here should be A or it should be D. But many of you are leaning towards option A. I could see that. Let's understand. We're talking about increasing forest area or the fact that forests are not thriving. Now we know that we have to increase forest cover because earlier in the time we decided to, cut or get rid of all the forest by the process of deforestation, right? But if I want to increase my forest cover, yes, I am not able to do that. What could be the reason? The fact that there is no irrigation around the forest. Now see, irrigation is a concept which was made by man, right? That means that providing regular supply of water. Forests could have naturally thrived way before we also decided to come up with this concept, right? So it is not B. Now C also, low quality seeds and saplings may not be the case, right? Because I could put good quality seeds and saplings and still my forest would not thrive. Cultivating food grains within the forest areas. How is this possible? In the sense that maybe I have my, mango tree and various random trees that are there in the forest area, right? But even then, if I cultivate it, how is it that my forest cover is not improving? Probably all my plants should grow well, right? But for anything to grow well, what should it have? It should have proper quality. It should have food, right? See, you think about it. if you and I want to grow and be healthy, we require food, right? If we don't get food properly, we are not getting, our nutrients properly, we don't have a proper home to stay in, things become very difficult, right? Which is why soil erosion and low quality of soil has also contributed to the fact, right, that forests are not able to thrive well. But see, but ma'am, D has asked forest food grain. See, food grain is not, we are saying that we'll practice agriculture along with growing forests. Is that possible? Is that possible? Do agriculture within the forest? No, right? We can't do that, which is why we see that in this particular case, even though I am increasing my forest cover, I am still not able to do it because of the fact that soil erosion and low soil quality. Clearing forest for agriculture, then it negates the purpose, right? It negates the purpose. The question is asking, they want to increase forest cover. They want to make sure that more area of land is covered or filled with forest. In the past few years, that's not happening. Why? Because am I doing this? That's the question. Are we growing food grains and forest at the same time? Are we doing this? Yes or no? Are we growing my forest and am I also growing my food grains? We are not doing that, right? But even though I'm making sure that I'm replanting my seeds and everything, good quality things, even if I'm doing, my soil is not good, right? My soil is not good and my soil is of low quality. Yes. Ma'am, is agriculture counted under forest area? No. We know that in net sown area or in gross cropped area, we calculate the agriculture, the land that we utilize for agriculture. Forest area is calculated separately, right? See, Ayush, if you are not paying attention, you can leave. Thriving means successfully growing, right? You are thriving in your career. You are very successful, right? Yes, I hope we are clear with this question. Are we clear? See, now my point of giving you this question is not about, telling you that you don't know. But my point of view is to also tell you, right, is to think about it. Is to think about various reasons, right? You need to think more about how to solve questions, because not at all times CBSE will directly give you an option. Okay, CBSE will tell you, okay, you identify which among the following is incorrect. They will not do that. They will give you multiple types of questions, which is why we as 10th standard students need to be very prepared. Okay, are we all clear? Good to go? Yes. Shelter belts are basically an area where you grow a lot of plants. It acts as a belt, right? Yes. Okay, shall we move on? Very good. Next question. Very simple. Ma'am, ऐसा question आएगा तो कैसा होगा? कोई नहीं, we're here to prepare. That's why, in the beginning only I'm preparing you with these questions, no? What is the point of telling you that, ma'am, this question will come one day before board exam? You keep practicing such questions so that you will be able to understand better, right? So don't get disheartened when you see such questions. You have to keep practicing. My intent is that you practice. Okay, moving on. Historically, आयुष कोई लड़की नहीं है आपको अभी आप you pay attention in class. Don't make me catch these things in class. Why are you doing this? Historically, colonizing countries took advantage of India's resources to gain supremacy. Why was India not able to resist that exploitation of her resources? Is it because there was lack of use of products derived from natural resource? Because colonizing country had superior technology? Due to lack of awareness about India's resource? Or due to overutilization of resources? Now in your textbook very clearly there is one paragraph towards, I don't remember which page, but it is towards the right side where they talk about colonizing countries. And there is a case study also which is given about Africa, right? We have discussed. I know ma'am, thoda confusion hai. I'll make this easy, right? Now I'll give you the case study of when you talk about a resource, right? What do you say, or how do we define a resource? We say that a resource is anything which can be used by us to satisfy our needs. But what are the three key points? That it should be technologically accessible, right? We see that it should be technologically accessible. It needs to be economically feasible, right? Feasible. I hope I got the spelling right. And of course, it has to be culturally acceptable. Yes, it has to be culturally acceptable. Only then will I say it is a resource, right? Now, let's understand in the case of Africa or in the case of India. Resources were available and we had the ability to use our resources also. Back in the day, if you look at how maybe a lot of the tribal people live, or if you look back at stories that you hear, right, pre-independence, it is not that people did not know how to live with the resource, right? People did know how to live with the resource. But what happened when the colonizers came, right, or the colonizing countries, when they came into the picture, why is it that we were not able to resist? They had something that we didn't have at that time, right? Yes, exactly. It is there in the textbook. Everything is there. We know that none of us were not, it's not that we were not aware about our resources. We were. But what we didn't have was that we didn't know we could use our resource in this aspect. And that is because of the lack of technology, right? So as you all know, right, due to lack of technology, we know that in the case of whether it was Africa or whether it was in the case of India, mainly because we are resource rich regions, we became susceptible to the colonizing countries, right? And they took advantage. But now, of course, over a period of time, we have also started developing technology in order to use our resources wisely, right? Which is why in this particular case, the correct answer here is option number B. Are we all clear, right? Are we all clear? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, today it's a little cold, but it's okay. Are we clear? Yes or no? Yes or no? Ma'am, D is also apt. See, D is apt because we're talking about why was India not able to resist exploitation by colonizing country. Nobody's asking they overexploited, that was a different case, right? But why is it that when they came, we couldn't resist it that much? Because when they came for our resources, they said that we have all this technology. If you just give me this, I'm sure in history you would have heard about how the Britishers came in, right? They did not just come and decided invade. They slowly came in. They came in for one after the other thing and they went for it, right? Which is why we see that at that point, we did not have the technology to actually build our resources, right? Yes, it is there in the revised books. Yes. See, now this is a very simple concept, but see how you are applying, right? See how you are applying it. Yes. Ma'am, how can soil quality become low in forest if we are not cultivating or over exploiting it? Shreya, that's a very hypothetical thing to say. Yes, you can watch it later, no problem. It's a very hypothetical thing to say that if forest is not there and if we are not cultivating, soil should be fine as it is. Land degradation, as we know, can be susceptible due to multiple reasons, right? So if an already degraded land which has poor soil quality and I try to grow a forest, it will not be possible, right? So that is the reason behind it. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. I hope this is an easy one. This is very easy. It's almost half an hour in, but it's okay, right? It's very simple and easy. The inequitable distribution of access to resource has disrupted world peace by dividing the society into dash. The haves and the have-nots, the environmentalists and the exploiters, the resource-rich and resource-poor regions, the climate change believers and the climate change deniers. Yes. Screen is blurred, everybody. I request you all to very sincerely go ahead and increase your resolution. 30 questions are there. Everybody is already scared now. Arey ma'am, abhi to I'm done. Okay. AC, okay. Ma'am, I'm nervous about economics. Sasuke, don't be. Don't be, you know it. I mainly teach bio, I also teach you geography, I teach you economics. Okay, competition is happening between A and C. Okay. Alright, so now let's understand. See, when you talk about inequitable distribution, we know that means it is not proper distribution, right? So that means that accumulation has happened in the hands of few, which divides the society into two segments. Understand the difference. Now, when I say that the society is divided, let's take an example. This is Bangalore, right? What do I say? This is Bangalore region. Yes, This is Bangalore region. Now in Bangalore region, I have so many people, right? Many people or a community of people make up a society. Now because some people have money, some people don't have money, or maybe it could be due to access, we see that within Bangalore region, right, I see that some people have access to resource, so we see that they are the rich people, or we see that this segment, because they don't have access to resource, we can say that they make up the poor segment. But has this made, right, has this made Bangalore region into a resource rich and resource poor region? Yes or no? Has this made my Bangalore region into a resource rich or resource poor region? Yes or no? Then can you say that if there is inequitable distribution of resource, it converts it into resource rich region and resource poor region? You can't say that. For those of you who got confused with option C, right, it makes it resource rich and resource poor. Yes, we understand, we can't say that. So it cannot be this. Climate change and all, we know it's not the case. Environment exploiters, not really, right? Because exploiters also, right, when you think about it, it's not really categorizing or telling you that because of inequitable distribution, they are just exploiting. These people are not getting the thing, so they are, environmentally conserved, right? Which is why in this particular case, it is the haves and the have-nots. The haves, it's a, what do you say? It's a statement that you say, the haves and the have-nots. That means that they have that kind of resources or they have that kind of money, and the have-nots, it's a way of saying that they don't have that access and they're poor, right? So it's divided into rich and poor. Sridhar, first I would suggest for social science, first is NCERT. Uske baad, I would, if it depends, if you want to practice more questions, you can reach out to Oswald or you can do Arihant also. Both are okay, good only. Yes, this is clearly mentioned in NCERT. Exactly my point, right? So this is all from NCERT. Nothing has come outside syllabus. It is either application or it is going to be important, right? Yes. Are we clear? Are we all clear? Yes or no? Ma'am, reason behind inequitable distribution. See, because over a period of time there has been exploitation and access to those resources has been limited, right? Access to those people have been limited to a few. That's why there has been inequitable resources. Okay. Very good. See, with this only you will kind of get, confidence to solve such questions. No? Suddenly periodic test, ya fir, in your midterm exam, this comes and you're like, oh ma'am, I can't do this. It should not be the case. You should have that confidence. That's why I am here to build that confidence. My responsibility, 5 people, 10 people, or even if it is 1 student, my job is to make sure that every one of you get that confidence. Yes, Iqbal, I will catch him now. Okay. Now, our very own favorite assertion reason questions, right? Assertion reason. Ma'am, why you give questions which are from NCERT but feels like out of syllabus? Student Dash, that is where we are looking at focusing on competency, right? Building our competency. That is where we are here, or that's what we are here for. Yes? Okay. Let's have a look at this assertion reason question. Soil formation and erosion go hand in hand, but sometimes this balance is disrupted by human activities. The formation of soil takes millions of years while soil erosion takes much less time. Okay. Now, like I said, right? If you are very regular in class, yes, if you are very regular in my class, you know the trick. But if you are not regular in my class, I will tell you how to go. So first thing that you need to do, right? Step number 1 with assertion reason is to identify if both statements are true or if they are false, right? So statement 1 here says that soil formation and erosion go hand in hand. So naturally, if you think about it, soil erosion to some level by natural factors like water or wind does take place in the environment, right? It goes hand in hand. It's not like soil erosion will never happen if humans were never there. It does happen, right? But sometimes this balance, right, the process of soil erosion can get accelerated. It can become much faster when human activities are involved. So statement 1 is true. Now, statement 2 says that soil formation takes millions of years while soil erosion takes much less time. Is the statement true? Absolutely. This particular statement is also true. Now, this is step number 1 where you have identified if both the statements are true or false. Then it takes us to step number 2, right? If both statements are true, only then you will go into step number 2, where you will ask yourself if this is the correct reason, right? So, if this is the correct reason, then you will say, how will you identify if it is the correct reason? You will ask yourself, why, right? After the assertion statement, put a why. So, here it says that soil erosion and formation and erosion go hand in hand, but it can, take a lot of time, right? But does this mean that, why does this happen? Because soil takes millions of years to form? Absolutely not, right? Which is why in this particular case, we see that the correct answer here, right? We see that the balance can get disrupted by human activities. Yes? Why? Because soil takes million years to form, right? It takes lots of time. The balance gets disrupted because it takes so much time to form. Yes? Why does the balance get disrupted? For this reason, while soil erosion takes much less time. Yes? So you all got the answer as C. Then when I started explanation, you gave up confidence and said, no ma'am, D. Now are you clear? Are we all clear? Let me go once again. Nawaz Bacha, if you're going to spam in the class, I request you not to be here. Don't spam. Come back and watch this video later, but don't disrupt the class, right? Why not D? Let me tell you. Simple. Soil formation and erosion go hand in hand, but they get disrupted when human activities are there. Why? Why does it get disrupted? Because soil takes so long to form, while soil erosion can happen momentously, which is why it is the correct explanation. So are you all clear? Yes? So we are asking, why soil erosion, if human activities get involved, disrupt the existing balance, right? That is why the correct answer is C. Yes, Krisha, you can practice. Don't worry, you can practice. Ma'am, human activities is not justified. See, I'll tell you something. You are focusing on the wrong thing. You are focusing on human activities. What should you ideally focus on? Your focus is on this keyword, on balance getting disrupted. Why is the balance getting disrupted? You're not asking why human activities is happening. No, you're asking why is balance getting disrupted? That is what I'm trying to say, right? Are you understanding now? Are you all clear with this? Yes or no? Or are we all still worried? Arey ma'am, it's not justified. How can you say this? Right? See, it depends on what you focus on, right? Okay. All right. Very good, everybody. Very good. Sasuke, I'll take that question towards the end, okay? I don't want to sort of focus on that. All right. Let's go on to the next question, which I want you all to solve by yourself, right? Try solving this particular question once again. Try it. All right? So as you all know, the availability of resources is not the only necessary condition for development of any region. Not only availability of resource, but also corresponding change in technology is necessary for the development of any region. This is easy. This is very easy. Most of you have got the answer. Hi, everybody is now telling ma'am you pronounce Sasuke correctly. Yeah, I used to watch. Don't be tensed about board exams. Hey, I'm here for you. Know why you're taking tension. Nothing to be stressed about. Easy peasy. Yes. Correct answer is option A, right? Availability of resources is not the only necessary condition, right, for development. Why? Because we know that not only availability of resources, but we also need technology as well, right? Which is why in this particular case, we see that the correct answer, both statements are true. And we know that this is the correct explanation, right? Now, don't get disheartened in case if you're going wrong with assertion reason. The main intent that is here, right? The main intent that is there is to make sure that you get the understanding, all right? Okay. Sometimes you'll get 5 marks, sometimes. Geography is becoming like chemistry. Hey, don't worry. Moving on, question number 13. Resource planning is an easy process in India. The 3 steps is in resource planning. Oh, it is in resource planning. Include identification, planning a structure, and matching the plans to overall national development goals. Students, don't pay attention. You pay attention to me. You focus only on what I say. You don't worry about what's happening in the chat. Because I understand some spammers are there, but you don't pay attention. Yes. Okay. Okay, you go for revision. See, in case if you have exams tomorrow, because I know your exams are also going on, don't worry about it, right? Don't worry. You come back and watch it later. And put it on 2x speed and watch. Very good, all of you. Very good. I'm so proud of you. Is resource planning easy in India? Absolutely not. It's false. It's a complex process because we know that in distribution of resources in India is not equal. It's unequal, right? But we know that the 3 steps of resource planning include identification, planning a structure, and making sure it's aligned with the overall national development goals. So correct answer here is option D. So now let's move on to question number 14. Okay, 14, and we have one more question and we're done with MCQs. The running water cuts through the clay soil to make deep channels as gully. Reason being, terrace cultivation does not restrict erosion. This is so easy. Yes. Ma'am, in the previous question, okay, Yashasvi, I'll take it. I will take this. Very easy. So easy for all of you. See, sometimes your assertion reason is going to be as simple as this, right? So we know that running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels called as gullies, and we call this as gully erosion. But we know that in the case of terrace farming, it is a way of solving problems with respect to soil erosion. And we cannot say that it does not restrict erosion, right? So this statement is false, which is why A is true, but R is false. It does restrict. Yes, exactly. Now I'm going to move on to question number 15, right? Now question number 15 is a question from your current sample paper. Okay, we have not solved it on the channel because we want to finish your syllabus and only then we will solve it together. But as you all know, this is there in your current sample paper. So as you all know, right? This is how it's going to be. M gave his friend clues about a type of soil that is suitable for growing cotton. Here only you should get the answer. Okay, which of the following clues provided by M would be most useful in identifying the ideal type? Clues. It is well known for its capacity to hold moisture. It turns yellow when hydrated. It is rich in canker and bhangar nodules. And it has a well-drained loamy soil. So now understand and read, right? Now of course everybody, when you talk about a soil or a type of soil that is suitable for growing cotton, which soil are we talking about? Which soil are we talking about? Quickly. Everybody is telling me, ma'am. Very good. Black cotton soil, black regur soil, right? All of this is very good, right? Now, let's identify some of the key properties of black soil. Now, when you talk about black soil, it is made up of clay material. Everybody who's telling me this, fine clay material, okay? Now, secondly, we understand that this right here, yes, we know that it has the ability to hold moisture. So, they are well known for capturing, or they have the ability to hold moisture. Yes, and we know that they have various different kinds of nutrients, right? Now, it is well known for holding moisture. Yes, it turns yellow when hydrated. That is a property we learnt about red and yellow soil. So it is not the case. Rich in canker and bhangar nodules, something we observed in the case of alluvial soil, right? Now I have a question. Canker and bhangar nodules, alluvial. Now, it's well drained loamy. Is it well drained and loamy? Yes or no? Is it well drained and loamy? Just now, I have told you it is made up of clay material. Is it well drained and loamy? Everybody telling me my answer is C. Simple. No. Then what is the correct answer? Now you tell me. What is the correct answer? Exactly. Correct answer here is option A, which is clue number 1. See? Now you understand. Solving, the way you solve is very, very important, right? Yes, very good. For those of you who said, ma'am, correct. See, loamy. Now this is types of soil. You have sandy soil, clayey soil, loamy soil. Your sandy soil allows more water to flow through it. Clay has the ability to hold the water, which is why it has high water holding capacity. Your loamy soil is a combination of it, right? Your loamy soil is a combination or a mixture, right? Yes. Chemistry I hope I'm not confusing you. But are you all able to understand what kind of questions you will be able to get? See, if you think, ma'am, direct questions will come, I want you to get out of that delusion so that you are aware. See, if you solve the toughest of toughest questions and you get easy peasy question, no, you'll be like, you will have so much confidence, right? You will have so much confidence to do it. So my intent at this point is not to tell you that you guys don't know anything. My point is to throw you the toughest of questions so that today you are solving all the possible tough questions from all the different places so that when you get it in your exam, whether midterm, whether preparatory, whether your whichever periodic test, you will be confident. Yes? So which is why the correct answer here is option number A. So with this everybody, as you all know, right? We are done with 15 questions. And I know that many of you got confused, right? I know here and there you went wrong with some questions also. But are you guys feeling confident? That's what I want to know. Ma'am, koi nahi, so thoda mistakes ho gaya, but I'm feeling confident that I'll be able to learn better. And you now understand that these are my strong points, but this is my weak point. I've not learned this properly. So today after this, I will pay attention to that. You will do that, no? Yes. Very good, right? Very good. Now, Yashasvi, yes, you asked me that doubt. I think it's a good doubt that you asked me, right? Ma'am, I'm feeling overconfident. I'm amazing. That's amazing that you did that. So everybody, if you enjoyed the way we learned, right? If you enjoyed the kind of questions that we learned and the kind of questions that we solved, please go and hit the like button on this video. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button because tomorrow, as you know, at 7 p.m, we're going to be doing live processes and we're doing objective questions, but a lot of interesting objective questions with competency and a lot of it coming your way. So do not forget to hit the like button. Yes? All right. How to memorize geography with some interesting analogies. Okay, we'll do difficult questions. Don't worry. See, the more difficult you do, the more easy everything becomes. Gullies is nothing but a narrow channel, right? How you have a gully in your neighborhood, which is a narrow road that is there, that is a gully. Yes, laterite and red and yellow soil are not the same. They are characteristically different, right? Okay. Now see, I have taken a lot of it in great detail, right? In my detail sessions, I've gone into the depths of it. So go back and watch it. You will be able to understand. CBSE website say you will be able to get the sample paper. Yashasvi, I'm waiting for the doubt that you told me because I know that it was a good question that you asked for that particular one, right? Yes, so Yashasvi has asked a very good question which I would like to assess, right? So I remember what you told me. Ma'am, when you say physical activities, doesn't it also mean physical factors? See, when you're saying, soil formation and erosion go hand in hand, right? But we are saying that the balance of soil formation and erosion that was happening normally is getting disrupted by human activities. Now, my focus is not understanding what are the human activities that's affecting the balance, right? Why? Why is human activities disrupting the soil? You put the question like that also. Even if you ask why is human activities disrupting the soil, it's because of the fact that soil to form takes so long, right? How else will you justify? Will you tell, oh ma'am, grazing, ye wo has contributed to it? No, right? That's not a why question to that. Which is why the correct answer is option number C. Okay, I hope now you are clear. Now students, we are going to move on to subjective questions. Yes? Okay. Now very quickly, I want all of you to very honestly tell me, how many of you are terrified by writing answers for social studies? Ma'am, objective to still I will do. I will still do objective because it is just identifying the answer. Application. Ho gaya, I can do it. Subjective is not my thing. Ma'am, very terrified about how to write answers, right? It's very, very difficult. I know this, right? I know it because one thing, we always worry that when you write answers in social sciences, firstly, at one go, you are not going to get it, right? You feel like at one go, if you make a mistake or one go, if you're not able to write answers, or maybe in one periodic test, you wrote the answer, but ma'am has not given you full marks, you lose confidence telling now it's not the way. With social studies, as much as you are going to, not pay too much attention to it, I will recommend that you write and study, right? Write answers by yourself. Because one thing is saying, okay, resource planning is this, resource planning is this, these are the 3 steps, and you memorize like this, it's not going to happen. Start writing, okay? Start writing. It is definitely going to help you. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2, get out of this misconception that you need to copy paste NCERT in the textbook, okay, in your answer sheet. You don't need to copy paste NCERT. Yes, but there are keywords in the NCERT which, if it is not there in your answer is not going to make sense. So identify the keywords, right? And again, when you're writing the answers, you don't need to write 1 page of answers. Write the main points so that you get confidence, right? When you are studying it, start practicing in that manner, right? So these are 2 things that you need to do. Can you get full marks? Your seniors have got full marks in social, just say, right? So your seniors have got full marks in their social science exam, so you can get it. Maps for this particular chapter will come for identification. So map work we are not solving because they will not ask you to mark, right? Start practicing maps now so that you get confidence. See, social science, I'm telling you, is all about confidence. If you get confidence, trust me, right? Confidence comes with practice. So how is it that you get confidence in a chapter? Whether it's mathematics or whether it is social studies or science, more practice. Yes? So we're going to do 15 subjective questions. Now in 15, I have 3-mark questions. I have 4-mark, which is a case-based question. And then of course, I have a 5-mark cut 2 questions which are there, right? Yes. All right. Arsh ma'am is there. Arsh ma'am is going to be there. Don't worry. Ma'am, we don't have time to write A. You don't worry about it. But before that, students, I can see that a lot of you are here. I hope all of you have hit the like button and you've not forget to subscribe. At least 100 likes on this video before we get started. And how about we take a quick 2-minute water break? We'll take a quick 2-minute water break. We've solved so many questions. No, 1 hour mein. Yeah, you can send me the keywords in the chat when we start. But how about we have some quick water break? We'll take 2 minutes, take a deep breath, right? Because again, we're going to do a lot of hefty things. I'll also drink water. Okay. Please drink a lot of water. Please hydrate. Ma'am, okay. When we do subjective questions, please don't send me the whole answer and take time to write. Just send me the keywords, okay? Yes. Ma'am, how to highlight? Krisha, highlight the important keywords, right? So always highlight the important keywords, because if you highlight the whole thing, that means only when you highlight keywords, you slowly start focusing more on what you are reading, right? Boards are going to be fine. You will rock boards. Thank you. Actually, Ankita ma'am got me this bottle because I wasn't drinking enough water. So she got me this whole bottle so that I drink at least 2 bottles of water. You also, everybody should drink lots of water, okay? Yes, I will do. I think I've marked the keywords in this particular in this particular session. Okay. So shall we get started, everyone? It's available on the CBSE website, so nothing to worry about. Option number is fine. They're not going to cut marks for that. Yeah, Ankita ma'am is the one running behind all of us to stay hydrated. Shreya, they won't cut marks if you just write option number. Are we ready? Yes, are we ready for the next 15 questions? Mahi, can I tell you that towards the end of the class? Why are you saying I'm going to make masala? I really want to know. I think I lost the conversation of thread. I think that's why I don't know what's happening. Theek hai. Okay, very good everyone. Very good. We are ever ready. Let's get started. Now, this is a very commonly asked question from this particular chapter, right? Resource planning is a complex process. Justify the statement with arguments, right? This came in the year 2020. It's a PYQ and this came for 3 marks, right? So in this particular, question, what is it, right? What is it that you will write about? you will be writing about the three things that are there about resource planning, right? So what is it that you will write about? You will directly write about the three steps which are involved in resource planning, right? So the 3 points that are there. So here you can say that resource planning there involves identification of resources across different parts of the country and making sure that you sort of quantify them and identify the quality. Yes. Then you make a planning structure so that you can utilize the technology. You make sure that there is a proper institutional setup for it. And you make sure that whatever plan you make, it aligns with the national plan. So this right here is an example of a direct question that they will ask you, right? So when you are writing the answer, you can say that resource planning is a complex process which involves the following steps, right? Now, how will you write it? Write it as 3 points which are there. Involves identification and making sure how many resources you have, and you make sure that you survey and you ensure that all of the qualitative and quantitative analysis is done, right? And you make sure that it has the planning, and you identify whatever different technologies you need, maintain the resource development plans such that the overall national development plans are better for the country, right? So now in this particular case, as you see, all the pointers I have highlighted, and if you write these key points, right, I will tell you that you will get 3 marks. Ma'am, if I don't write introductory statement, will marks get deducted? No, but there's a way of presenting an answer. And see, when you write an introductory statement and do all of that, the teacher also knows that, oh, the student knows, right? These are subtle ways in which you will be able to tell the examiner that I know that this will all be helpful. Yes, should we give definition? Need not be, right? You just need to justify why resource development is a complex process, right? The answer would be more. In this case, they are asking for 3 marks, and this is where I want to clarify it, right? Understand that when you talk about resource planning, we know that there are so many resources which are available. But how is it that we judiciously use these resources? You plan it well. How will you plan? First, you'll identify where all I have resource in my country, right? Oh, in this place I have this and this. I have water. I can generate hydroelectric energy here, but there are no minerals available here. So if I need that, I see that it's available somewhere else. So you identify it. Then, after that, what will you do? You ensure that whatever resource is there in whichever area, you make sure that quality is good, right? Then after you have identified what resource you have, then you plan. Okay, I want to generate this much electricity means I have to plan, I need to identify what technology I have. Yes? And of course, my plan should align with the nation's plan. Why should it align with the nation's plan? See, in our different chapter, which is development in economics, we know that conflict of development or conflict of interests could be there, right? But when a national development takes place, we need to align, or at some point when these development plans happen, should align with the national development. Should not be that my idea is okay, I will do this, but it's not benefiting anybody in my country. How will our country progress, right? Which is why this right here is very, very important. Ma'am, isn't resources are minimum and need is unlimited? You can write that, but they are mainly asking about why resources are a complex process. You don't need to overcomplicate it, right? Don't overcomplicate the question. Yes? Clear? Let's move on. Now it's the same concept. The second question, which is question number 17, is the same concept. Why is it essential to have resource planning? Explain by giving any 3 reasons. This is from CBSE 2020. This is an alternative question which was asked for 3 marks. This is indirect. Exactly. This is not a direct one where they'll ask you, right? Now here, your focus. Exactly, Krisha. Very good, Divyanshu. Very good. Sasuke, it means topography is basically the layout of the land that is there, right? So if you have plateaus, you have mountains, that's basically the topography that is there. Now here, if you are going to write resource planning has identification, planning structure, and you write it has to align with developmental goals, will you get marks? Yes or no? If you write the same answer as the previous question, are you guys going to get marks? Yes or no? I want you to try and think for yourself. Will you get it? You are not going to get it. Because the question is not asking you for steps of resource development. But they're asking why should you do resource development, right? So now, of course, when you look at our country, India is the biggest example. We know that resource development first and foremost is essential, mainly for the judicious usage of resources, right? Now, especially in a country like India, we know that the distribution of resources is not equal, it is unequal. So and you can give some examples, like for example in Arunachal Pradesh we know that it has a lot of water but there's not enough infrastructure, right? While in the case of maybe Rajasthan, we know that there's a lot of potential for solar energy, wind energy, but not enough potential for water energy. So you can give some of those examples, right? And ultimately, why should I do this? So that I reduce wastage and I ensure that I do strategic planning, right? That is an important thing. So when you are writing the answer, look at it in this manner. Resource planning, and write 3 points. They are just asking you for 3 reasons, okay? They're saying explain giving any 3 reasons. Now if you ask me, ma'am, if I write one more extra point, will I get 4 marks? Absolutely not. But if I write, ma'am, if I just do 2 points, will I get marks? Absolutely not, right? So why is resource planning necessary? For judicious usage of resource, right? Especially in a country like India, resource distribution is unequal, which is why resource planning is essential. Support with examples, okay? So here you are supporting your justification with examples. Now why should I do this? To reduce wastage of resources and make sure that it helps in sustainable development. Why is it judicious resources? It is not judicious resources, it is judicious use or the wise use of resource, right? Is it for ecological balance? See, you want to create ecological balance, right? But when you want to create ecological balance, see, at the time and point we are far away from creating an ecological balance. Now all we can aim towards is sustainable development, right? Which is why here it is something that you need to focus. Ma'am, does population affect distribution? No. Distribution of natural resources is because of the natural layout of the land, right? So that is not something that we need to focus on. Ma'am, in this answer, there could be a mix of points. No, there could be. But it depends on how you structure the answer, right? Which is why when you structure it, you will get 3 marks. Yes? 3 marks here. Are you clear on how answers are coming or how I will... If your teacher has to evaluate your answer, you know how to do it now. Now understand that in all cases, I have underlined the keywords and I am looking for those keywords to correct it. So the more and more you underline your keywords and a habit that you make in underlining it, especially for social sciences, trust me, it will become better. Ma'am, should I explain whole topic? No need. Don't write story about the steps of resource planning. If you write also, nobody is going to give you marks for it. Maximum your teacher or your examiner in board exam will give you half mark because you attempted and you wrote so much. But the intent of the question was very different. They're asking you about why we should do resource planning. So that is why something we need to, focus upon. Are we clear? Accumulation of resources in the hands of few. Okay. You can write that point. But how is that helping in resource planning? That is a reason for resource planning, right? But again, why is it essential? Not just, you can write that. That point also is valid actually. Sorry, that point is valid. My bad. Are we clear? Now I will show you one more question. Judicious means wise use, okay? All right. Next question is also an extension of resource planning, right? Don't write in paragraph, write in points. A river valley in India is being developed into a hydroelectric plant. State the 3 steps of resource planning in order to achieve this. Same concept of resource planning. Same topic. But you understand how this question, is it a direct or an indirect question? If you write the same 3 points as the first subjective question we saw, you will get, ma'am, I'll write same answer. I will cut half mark, 1 mark for you there. I will cut 1 mark. Now why will I cut that 1.5 marks? Can you tell me? I will cut 1.5 marks if you write the exact same answer as the first question we saw. Why, can you tell me? What is it that is different in this particular question? It is indirect, yes. But I want you to focus on one thing. I want to see how many of you are able to identify this. Find out which technology. Situation. Yes. Because it will not be related to hydroelectric. Application is needed. Exactly, very good. You need to explain it using the example. So the question, as you can see, is telling you, they've given you the situation. Understand, students, they have given you the situation telling you that there is a river valley project that is happening in India, and you have to write how you will plan to achieve this. Yes? So when you are writing these three steps, right, about identification, planning and national development, you can't just write these 3 points, but you will have to write the answer with respect to the hydroelectric power plant. So when you are saying identification of the resource, it is very specific now. Identify and estimate how much energy you are able. First of all, identify how much water is there in the region, right? So estimate how much water is there, how much energy you can produce using that water. So estimate your water resources qualitatively and quantitatively. Yes? Then plan the development. Now when you say planning structure and skill and technology, plan the development of how you will construct a dam or how you will construct the infrastructure for the power plant. Bring in people, right? Employ people with effective skills to plan properly. Yes? Now match the electricity. Now this is the example of why you need to align your development goals to national goals. I can't just keep generating how much ever electricity I want. The electricity generation should match my overall electricity national development, right? So you can say match electricity generation to overall national development, right? So that way, same answer, you have changed it by just giving the example. 3 marks you will get for this. Yes? Saas ke bacha, I will take your doubt, but give me some time. I'm explaining right now, no? So it will be very difficult for me to do this. So please pay attention. Is it necessary to write in points? Easy. Is employment related? Yes, employment is related. You can write that. Map of soil will come for identification. No, it will come only for identification. You might get map work from Rise of Nationalism in Europe. मैम बोर्ड से डर नहीं लगना चाहिए आपको, कोई नहीं होगा अनंत. Everything is going to be fine. Okay? Ma'am, after explaining the answer, can you just show the question? Yes. This is the question, everyone. Are we all clear? Yes. Are you all clear with how to approach? Same concept. I have given you 3 types of questions. 3 types of questions have come. And you understand that you cannot keep writing the same type. Are you all clear? See, like I said, no, it's very important that you stay focused with all of these things. Shall we move on? Shall we move on to the next question? I hope you've taken a screenshot of that as well. Okay. Question number 19. Oh, how sweet. Question number 19, everybody. Yashasvi, I think I missed your question, but let me finish this. Question number 19 is, discuss the anthropogenic factors of land degradation. CBSE 2019 mein 3 marks it has come, but this question can come for 5 marks. How many of you have gotten scared telling ma'am anthro what? See, this is why I made it a point to include this question. I don't want y'all getting scared in the exam or suddenly, looking at this question and wondering what is anthropogenic. Understand, it's a very important term. The word anthropogenic means man-made. Simple. Very fancy word for man-made. Okay? Anthropogenic is with respect to any environmental change which is influenced by people. So simply this question is on how did human beings ruin land or do land degradation, right? In my UT it has come exactly. So this could be 3 marks or it could be 5 marks, right? Why can't they make it simple? For the very same reason, no? Simple direct question, if they give you, you guys will know the answer. Little bit you twist, you guys get scared. So our point is to tell you that the whole point of giving you these exams is to not. See, these are challenges. Just look at it, looks very fancy, answer is very simple, right? So when you talk about land degradation factors, we know that reckless usage of land has caused to land degradation. Now here, as you all know, you can write about over-irrigation, you can write about mining, you can write about overgrazing, you can write about industries. Now when you are writing, here I would suggest that you give examples, right? So when you are saying mining, especially in states, give the examples of the state, right? So when you're saying mining, you can give one example. You don't need to write all three. Like Jharkhand and Odisha or Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, large areas of land are cleared. Now overgrazing may you can write Gujarat or Rajasthan, where one of the major reasons is we know that it is overgrazing is one of the major reasons for land degradation. Over irrigation may you can write Punjab and you can write Uttar Pradesh. Those are also very good examples. Then you can also talk about how in cement industries, right? So especially in cement industries for the processing of, limestone. Yes, grinding of limestone in the cement industry also results in a lot of dust that gets there, which also affects the land. Right? You can talk about excessive use of fertilizers. You can again talk about how in the recent years across different places there has been, there has been, there has been a lot of industrial effluence. Ma'am, overgrazing is not man-made. Sridhar, I'll ask you a very simple question. Overgrazing is grazing of land, grazing of livestock, right? What is this word livestock or cattle? Yes. We know that there are animals which are reared at a large scale for human-made products, right? We've learned it in biology. Large-scale animal husbandry that takes place. So we know that that is man-made. Yeah, not like animals will decide today I will go, collectively they'll all decide and they'll decide to go eat together. No, right? So overgrazing is man-made. Even though animals are doing it, humans are influencing that, right? Not that animals have suddenly decided that, hey, today let's all go for a party. Cool. So when you're writing the answer, I have written it in such a way that you can write it for 3 points or you can write it for 5 marks, right? 3 marks may, you just need to write any 3 points. 5 marks may, whatever we discussed, you will have to write that. Yes? So as you can see, 3 points you write cleanly. Deforestation in these areas, mineral processing can lead to, can affect infiltration of water, overgrazing in these states, over irrigation in these states, right? 3 marks you will get, 5 marks may add 2 more points, you are good to go. Are we feeling good? PDF I will share. Yes, chapter 1 may it is there, I think. I'll have to check. You'll have to check with Ankita ma'am once. She would have discussed this, so go back and check with Ankita ma'am once. I think chapter 1 may it is there, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not a history person, so you have to check that with Ankita ma'am. Alright, let's move on to question number 20. Very easy. Describe any 3 features of alluvial soil found in India. 3 marks. Okay? Oh, it's not there. Oh, my bad. It's not there, guys. Very sorry. My bad that I told you it is there. Cool. Super simple about alluvial soil. We all know, right? I'll tell Kritima. Most fertile group has proportions of sand, silt and clay. It is clay in nature. Very easy. Exactly. Right? Soil portion, everybody make table and study. There is no other way to go. See, we know that it is formed by the depositions of sediments. We know that it's the largest soil group. We know that it's extremely fertile. We know that it's mainly found in Indo-Gangetic plain. We also know that it's also made of sand, silt and clay, right? You can write various points, most widely available. They want you to write any 3 characteristics. So you can talk about the distribution. See, you can talk about anything, but you just need to show 3, right? Yes. So as you all know, it's found in mainly the distribution of alluvial soil is in the northern plates and parts of the eastern coastal area. Has various proportions of sand, silt and clay. It also has phosphoric acid and potash in it, and it is extremely fertile. And you can add in some examples, right? Ma'am, itne sare ho jayega. Lot of revision, right? Yes. So with this, of course, you can give some examples and 3 marks you have got, right? Ma'am, how can we draw flow chart? Flow chart, you can draw for questions where it is relevant. For this, if you draw flow chart, they may not give you the answer. Write it, point wise. Yes, it has mix of it, right? It has a mix of sand, silt and clay, so it has a loamy kind of texture. Yes, bacha, because in the question only, if you see, they have asked you, describe only any 3 features. Question only has asked for 3. Then don't take tension. Yes? Similarly, it is an OR question, right? So the next one is an OR question where they're asking you, describe any 3 features of black soil, right? Black soil, any 3 features, right? So as you all know, this is also 3 marks. Now black soil, as we all know, right? We know that it's also called as regur soil or cotton soil. It is extremely clayey in nature, right? We know that it's extremely clayey. It has the ability to hold in a lot of moisture. Then we also talk about, we know that normally in the Deccan area, in the Deccan Plateau area, in regions of Maharashtra, parts of Karnataka, Gujarat, we see the distribution, right? So you can write all these pointers, right? Any three of it. So as you can see here, it's also commonly called as regur soil or black cotton soil, spread across Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka. Has fine clayey material, high moisture holding capacity, has potash and calcium carbonate in it. Yes? Very, very simple and easy. So with this, of course, as you all can see, you have got 3 marks, right? Very simple. It lacks phosphoric content. Exactly. It lacks phosphoric content in this particular case, right? So here my point is not to teach you all these things, but kind of to tell you how to write the answer, right? So that's something that I want you to understand. Now let's move on to question number 22. How many of you have got this particular question in your unit test maybe, right? How many of you have got this particular question? It is a reference book based question, let me tell you, right? It's a reference book based question, and some of you, I think your seniors have got this in your exam. Your seniors have got this in their, I think, midterms and preparatory and all that. This particular question has come because it is there in the, it is there in one reference book which I have done. Ma'am, does characteristic mean same as features? Yeah, same as features, right? So now the question is, this is a pie chart which is there in your textbook on distribution of land, okay? Compare the diagrams given below and find out the land use category which had the highest increase during the period of 1960-61 and 2014-15 in the category, which has led to highest decrease during that period. Give one major reason, right? Yes. Ma'am, isko kaise represent karenge? Exactly. Now let's highlight our keywords, right? Let's highlight our keywords. They're asking for highest increase and highest decrease. Nothing in between. Now our highest increase, let's have a look, right? Now in all these cases let me use another color. See, in all these cases, for example, let's take maybe current fallow, right? So light pink here is current fallow. There is 3.73% to 4.9, roughly 1.2%, right? Now, similarly, if I take fallow and other current fallow, we see 3.5 to 3.6. Then you see 6.23%. Okay, that is decrease here. We will not focus on decrease. Now, first our intent is to look at increase, right? What is increasing over a period of time? So then I can see that here, I can see that there is 45.26 and 45.5. But what has increased the highest? Now all this is 1-2%, 0.1%. What has increased the most? It is 18% to 23.3%. So first, which has the highest increase, right? I'll write it in the side. Highest increase is what? It's your forest area, right? Now I have a question for you. Why is there an increase in percentage of forest area? Why is there a sudden increase? Because you know that government has been involved in forest conservation, right? So we know that the government has been actively involved in forest conservation. There has been a lot of steps which have been taken. But does this mean that we have attained our national forest policy where we should have at least 33%, right? Based on the 5-year plan also. But have we achieved that 33%? No, we are still under that. But there has been a significant increase, right? So the highest increase that you see is with respect to forest area. So you will have to not only write what, but you will have to also write why. Yes? Ma'am, please identify colors by their index. That's what I'm doing, no? For blue is forest area. Blue is forest area here. Now next, what is it? What are we seeing? Which has a drastic decrease. Now second is to identify which has the highest decrease. Now identify which has the highest decrease. Many of you are telling me, ma'am, red color, barren and unculturable wasteland. Now barren and unculturable wasteland was 12.01%, which has reduced to 5.5. Whereas if you look at in this particular case, right, let's assume our purple color, which is permanent pasture, 4.71, 3.3, not so much. The 1.5, which is, this light blue color, area under miscellaneous tree crops. 1.5% was there, it's become 1%. Now again, this orange color is cultivable wasteland, which is 6.3, and this is 4. Clearly, almost a 7% decrease has been there in barren and unculturable wasteland. So second one, I'm going to write it here. Our second point is barren and unculturable wasteland, right? This has seen the highest decrease. Now, what could be the reason for this? Can you tell me? Ma'am, we have to write names or reasons also. No, you have to write reason also, right? Because they have asked you. Give one major reason. Yes, because we have introduced. Very good. Exactly. So now, as you all know, right? We know that technology, infrastructural development, urbanization, for all of this, where are we going? We have been developing this, right? So we see that there has been a considerable decrease in it because of all the land that has come under area, right? So here, as you can see, area under non-agricultural uses has increased considerably because we have eaten up into this, right? Yes, very good. They've been utilized. So when you're writing the answer, you will have to do. Ma'am, what has the government taken exactly? There's a lot of steps which have been initiated by the government, right? See, protection acts which have been implemented, and a lot of it that have been implemented over a period of time, which we will learn in our second chapter, which is forest and wildlife, the forest and wildlife chapter. Yes. So now, of course, highest increase is forest cover. You can write the percentage from the map. Why? Efforts taken by the government, but it is still under 33%. Highest decrease, barren and unculturable wasteland, due to the fact that there has been a rise in area under non-agricultural uses, right? And we know that this is due to development of infrastructure. Now, as much complicated as that question looks, isn't it a very easy question? This is so easy, no? Very simple and easy. Now, even if you didn't write the reason for it, right? For example, I know for forest it's easy. But for the other one, if you are not able to give the answer, if say you are not able to know the reason, you'll at least get 2 out of 3 marks. So don't get worried, right? Please don't get worried about all of this. Hema, see, as you all know, ma'am, answer pata hone ke baad bhi usko likhna kaise hai? See, this is where I am helping you out, right? So this is where I am helping you, where you structure your answer. See, when you are saying, it's about phrasing that sentence, right? So when I know that highest increase is forest cover, imagine you are telling it to somebody who does not know. Highest increase in forest cover has a highest increase is in forest cover, where we see that it was 18.11% in 1960-61, but it increased all the way to, increased all the way to 23.3, right? Shalini, you can, but I would suggest that let's not. Is it a PYQ from the book I refer to? It was not mentioned as a PYQ, but I know that a lot of your seniors have got this question, right? So are we ready? Ma'am, there is no need to draw the pie chart. Drawing pie chart is giving you no marks. Nothing you will get drawing pie chart. Let me tell you that. Okay. So let's go on to question number 23, right? Yes, let's move on to question number 23, which is now a very easy question. Examine the major problems caused by indiscriminate use of resource, right? Indiscriminate use of resources. What are the major problems? What do you have to write about in this particular question? You need to talk about what will happen if there is exploitation, right? Major problems which are caused by indiscriminate usage. Land degradation, increase in gap between rich and poor, wastage of resource. Yes. So when first and foremost there is indiscriminate usage of resource, we know that there is increase in the rate in depletion of resource, right? And we also know that indiscriminate usage of resource has led to the differentiation in segment of society between rich and poor, right? Because there is accumulation of resources in the hands of few, and we also know that there is ecological damage, right? So we know that it will result in global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental degradation. You can write all of this in great detail. 3 points you will have to write. So with this, of course, everybody, this right here is very direct, right? Excessive use of resource can have an impact on the resources that are there, accumulated in the hands of few, led to global ecological crisis. right? This is a direct question for 3 marks. Most likely you can get this kind of a question in your periodic test, so don't worry about it. See, land degradation is when you affect the quality of land. Land depletion is in terms of area, right? This much land or this much forest cover has been depleted. That means the percentage has come down, right? Okay, let's move on to question number 24. Oh, this is a competency based question. It is surely our responsibility to do everything within our power to create a planet that provides a home not just for us but for all life on earth. This was said by Sir David Attenborough. What is meant by the above quote? Explain in 2 points. How does this quote align with sustainable development? Yes? No problem. Please, you can come back and watch this video, right? Yes, this is all based on sustainable development only, nothing more. See, when you are saying what is meant by the above quote, we are talking about it is our responsibility and it is in our power to make sure that it is a home not just for us but for all life on earth, which means resources are not just for us, right? Resources for everybody, right? And of course, as we all know, when you're writing about it, it is our responsibility first and foremost to conserve the earth's resource. And these resources are not just for us, but they are for all living organisms. Now, how does this relate with sustainable development? Because we know that in sustainable development, the ideology is to utilize resources such that it is not, we don't just use it for ourselves, but it is available for the future generations also. So here you will get 2 marks and you will get 1 mark here to write about the ideology of sustainable development, right? Are we clear with this? Are we all clear? Very good, especially for future generation and other animals. Exactly, Roshni. Very good, very good. ठीक है? Sab good? Yes? I'll take a small minute here. We have just 5 more questions left because I think we had, 5 to 6 more questions, right? Ma'am, with only 1 point of future generation, we extended it to 3 marker. Exactly. Exactly. Now, very quickly, right, I want you all to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the confidence? How are we feeling confident about this particular chapter or in terms of this chapter? Because see, when you're sitting here 1.5 hours, 1 hour 45 minutes, it should not be that you are not, you are feeling ki, "Arey ma'am, time sab waste ho gaya, abhi I have to go back and study again," right? It should not be that you are wasting your time. It should be progress that you make, right? And in case if you feel like, "Arey ma'am, this topic and this topic I am very good at, but maybe soil I'm not very good at it, maybe I'm not able to understand resource planning," then you will be able to know that, okay, this is where I need to put effort. Rather than sitting and studying the whole chapter and spending and wasting time, you'll be smart about how to do it, right? Yes. Okay, 10 plus, so I am very happy. Now we will move on to some case-based questions, okay? Now let me tell you one very good thing about case-based questions. Case-based questions will come for 4 marks. Now if you're lucky in the board exam, you might get MCQ-based questions. Or what will happen, you will get 3 subparts or you will get 4 subparts where each of it is 1 mark each. So in case if you go wrong 1 or 2 here, you will still have the other questions to get your marks. Right? So trust me, it is case-based are the easiest questions to crack. Now you'll get about 3 case-based questions, 1 from history for sure, 1 from political science for sure. But now the catch is that in your board exam, you can either get from economics or you might get from geography. Okay? But political science and history is to pakka. Right? So now of course, let's have a look at this particular one. Now before I go ahead, I'd like you to take a minute and read the case that is given here. And once you are done reading, let me know, right? Let me know saying that, "Ma'am, I'm done reading." Okay. So now these are some MCQ based questions only, so they're going to be very simple. Why is alluvial soil considered the most important soil? Is it because it's very fertile? Is it because it's very ideal to grow cotton? Because it has fine particles? Or because it does not require fertilizers? Very easy. Super duper easy. See, now this is for 1 mark, right? This is part A. So this is part A. Gurlal, bachcha telegram mein aayega. Very good. We know that alluvial soil is considered to be very important because it is the most fertile soil, right? So which is why the correct answer is option A. 1 mark here. Competency and case-based are not the same. Competency is a little more higher order thinking, right? Case-based means situation is given to you and based on that you need to answer maybe a paragraph. So that is how case-based works. Next up, alluvial soil is ideal for the growth of which among the following crops? Sugarcane, wheat, pulse crop, or all of the above. Very easy. No distribution, I'll give you a clue. Students, what grows in the northern plains the best? Which part, right? What grows in the northern plains the best? Northern plains includes Punjab, it includes Haryana, right? Uttar Pradesh. Now I've given you a clue. Now you are still telling me all of the above. Why? Sugarcane and all, we know that it requires a little more. It's a different kind of crop. Conditions are different, right? D can't be the answer. Because here mainly, ideal for the growth of which of the following crops? It's wheat, right? Wheat. Then we also know that over a period of time, paddy has also been cultivated, right? So answer here is B, okay? Now let's move on to the next one. Yes, regions of alluvial soil are what, right? Regions of alluvial soil, overly cultivated, over-cultivated, it is densely populated, intensively cultivated and densely populated, or it is less cultivated but densely populated. See, understand the question is not asking which all crops, it's asking which is most ideal to cultivate. See, they're saying ideal means see, of course, over a period of time with green revolution and all, we are able to grow so many crops irrespective of the area, right? But temperature-wise, nature-wise, or the soil component-wise, which is most ideal? That's why the answer is wheat, right? Yes, very good. It is not A, it is C. We know that in the Gangetic Plain especially, we know that it is densely populated and at the same time the land is also intensively cultivated, right? So correct answer here is option C. Now moving on to the next one. Hello Ashrita, I welcome you to today's class. We're having a Super 30 class of revising resources and development, right? Now which of the following particles does alluvial soil contain? Ye to we discussed. We have discussed this umpteen number of times. So I'm sure you know the answer to this, right? Very good. We know that sand, silt and clay are what makes up alluvial soil. Now you realize you solved 4 questions in that gap and you've got 4 marks as it is. So you get 1 mark for each of these questions. And case-based, I'm telling you, case-based questions or questions which have subparts in it, no, it is the best, right? It is the best way of getting marks. And in social sciences, most of your 5-mark questions or sometimes even your 3-mark questions can come with subparts, right? And that way you have solved 4 questions. 4 questions are done. 28 you have reached. Now we have 2 more questions and they are 5-mark questions. Now, normally from this chapter, from what I've analyzed in the past 5 years, right? From this chapter, they've not really asked a lot of 5-mark questions. But just to have an understanding, the type of 5-mark questions that you might get. Let me just go ahead. Yeah. So, the type of 5-mark questions could be either of these two, right? So, this is a kind of indirect question. Consequences of environmental degradation do not respect national or state boundaries. Now, support this statement with examples. Now, this is for 5 marks. Now, this of course, as we all know, it is indirect. They're not directly telling you anything, right? They're saying that consequences of environmental degradation does not respect national or state boundaries. Which means that at this point, we are talking about what are the global consequences of environmental degradation, right? So, this right here is very easy then. It's not very complicated. right? Because we know that environmental degradation does not respect national or state boundaries. It does not mean that, oh, Delhi mein pollution is happening, Bangalore is safe, nothing to worry about in Bangalore, right? That is a kind of delusion many people have, that if that is a problem for that particular state, then that is something that they have to deal with. Recently in Canada, there was an outbreak of forest fires, and if you have seen it, there have been a lot of, smog, right? We know that there was smog that floated into cities of New York and various other cities in Canada. Now at that point, many people thought that, oh, that is, United States and Canada's problem. Why do we have to worry? But there are so many forest fires which are happening across the world, right? Even within the country, there are so many forest fires as well, right? So when you are writing it, please make sure you bring this. First and foremost, we see that if land does not properly work, or if the land is not of good quality, which is the first sector to get affected, it is your agriculture, right? Which means it's going to affect food crops, right? Now, if food crops get affected, internally people will have a problem. It's going to affect international trade. Along with that, we also see that deforestation has led to accumulation of greenhouse gases, resulting in global warming. You can talk about impact of chlorofluorocarbons. You can talk about how oceans and seas are polluted, and polluted air, right? So this right here are some ways of writing it, and you will get 5 marks. Okay. Ma'am, I didn't understand. What is it that you have to write? Seema Bacha, write what are the environmental degradation causes, right? What is it which, like for example, when you talk about global warming is not only in Delhi or not only in Bangalore, right? Global warming is something that affects everybody. Now, what results in global warming? We know that more emissions of greenhouse gases will lead to that. So you can give examples, but you'll have to write little bit more about overall, globally, what affects the environment. It's a very easy question, to be honest. It's not complicated. You can give examples, right? You can. Now, Shritama, one question you asked me is, ma'am, will I always get MCQs for case-based? No. You'll get 3 subparts, which will be one-word answers, or really simple. It will not be tough, right? But not always will they ask you MCQs. Ma'am, it wasn't easy to understand. Was the question not easy to understand, or my explanation was not easy? That's what I want to know. Terrace farming, basically in a sloped area, you cut it, right, and you make flattened slopes so that when there is surface runoff, the water that is there, it will, so basically what happens is, if it's a slopy land, it erodes the soil, right? So when you cut or you make steps or terrace, like steps out of it, it breaks that flow. Yes? Next up, 5 marks, which says, what is Regur soil? You get 1 mark for this. Write its 2 features, 2 marks. Write any 2 regions where you find it, 2 marks. Best question, right? Too easy, easy peasy, direct question. So what is Regur soil? We know that Regur soil is also known as black soil or black cotton soil, which is cultivated largely, right? Now, 2 characteristics. It has clayey content, it lacks phosphoric content, it has a lot of potash in it, right? And then you can also talk about how it has well water holding capacity, right? And of course you can talk about how it also is made up of clay material. And where is it found? You can write about, it's found in Maharashtra, parts of Karnataka, parts of Madhya Pradesh. Easy peasy, right? So you just need to write 5 points. 1 mark for writing about Regur soil, right? 2 marks in writing about characteristics. 2 marks if you tell me where it is found, right? Very simple and easy, and as we all know, 5 marks you will get like this. So students, I want you to understand that in a chapter, right, if we take every chapter and we dissect that chapter, you see that the concepts are simple, but applying how to do it is what is tricky, right? So let me tell you, this is a homework question for all of you. It's a 2 mark question, okay, 2 marks for all of you. Give me 2 examples of states, or name 2 states where over irrigation is the cause of land degradation. So I need you all to let me know in the comments of this video. This is a very direct and easy question, and of course I will be checking your answer. But before I go ahead, right, I know many of you maybe dropped out at some point, but I know few of you are here till the very end. But for those of you who are here till the very end, I want you to tell me how confident you are feeling at this point, right? How confident are you feeling with the chapter resource and development? Because of course after this we are also going to be doing the same for your history chapters, for your political science chapters, and for your economics chapters. And trust me, it's going to be very simple and easy, right? So tomorrow I'm going to do it for bio. We're going to do life processes, but we're going to do a slightly different approach for bio, because in biology, we're going to be looking at objective questions, and we'll do all possible kinds of objective questions. And the following week, we'll be doing subjective questions. Okay? Yes, I'm happy that you are feeling confident. And if you enjoyed this class, right, what is it that you enjoyed about today's class? What more do you want from me? You let me know in the comments of this video, right? Because see, I take your examination preparation. I'll not say just me. All of us take your examination preparation quite seriously, right? And we know that for all you students, it is important, especially because now July has started. Soon midterm will come in September. Then, of course, by the end, we have to wrap up your syllabus. You will have your next set of UTs coming in. Then before you know it, it's pre-board, right? Time is over. So every time, let me tell you, every class you attend, if you spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 45 minutes, let me tell you that you spend your time there. Don't waste time. And see, I want you to enjoy 10th grade, right? I want you to enjoy the process. I don't want you to getting stressed and worrying, "Arey ma'am, nahi ho raha hai, nahi ho raha hai." No, have fun, because it's going to be the best time, right? Not just studying and preparing for your exam, but spending time with your friends is also equally important, which is why I want you to enjoy 10th standard, right? So do not forget to like this video. I hope all of you have liked this video, and I hope all of you have subscribed to the channel, and share this video with your friends as well, right? Share it with them. Tell them that, you know what, Aishwarya ma'am does some amazing classes. She's given us some amazing questions for geography, and for every chapter she's going to be doing this, so you should not miss this, right? So with this, everybody, I'm going to be signing off. I hope all of you had a good time today. Please go have dinner and take rest. One chapter of your preparation is actually done. And tomorrow, I'm very sorry, but live process will happen on YouTube polls, not on Menti, right? But it's okay. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll be signing off. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Up until then, everybody, take care. Lots of love to you all. Bye-bye.